Hello, everybody. We're going to wait. Oh, let's see how many more minutes. Maybe one more minute before we get started. So if you've done my icebreaker, because we're not officially started. So my icebreaker is, how are you, or if you are going to give or serve this holiday season, what are some ideas that you're doing? And my name is Jeannie McGinnis, but we'll do an official intro here in a minute. I'm going to actually donate some winter clothes to a women's shelter because they're in desperate need. And I just need to do a clear out anyhow. And then I'm going to give biocellulose masks to all my girlfriends with cards. So that's just one thing I'm going to do. Okay, so Karen Free says, I'm going to participate in a national fundraiser for Focus Ireland that helps support people out of homelessness. That's fantastic. Carol Price is donating Christmas packs to senior citizens local to me. That's really fantastic. Paul Diamond says he's going to deliver all his presents and cards on time. You know what? Me too. That's what I'm hoping. I'm already getting started because, well, we've got time. So, hey, I am working on it. I was already doing Christmas shopping. I bought some cards yesterday. So, Yvonne Hayes is going to donate winter clothes to a homeless shelter and food to the food bank. We are definitely doing that as well. I just think this is a really key time and a key season to do that. Anna, lovely to see you too again. Okay. Sheila Patel says all the women in her family this year are going to get a self-care pack, and maybe you're going to include some essential oils. Oh, can you turn your mic up? Okay, hang on a second. Can you hear me? Let me see if I need to do my volume is 100%. Can you hear me? Let me know if you cannot hear me. Put it in your comments. And I can't hear. Yes, you can hear. I had it on mute earlier, so that's why you maybe couldn't hear me loud and clear. Yes, it's great. It's because I was on mute earlier. So when you're asking me to turn it up, it's because I was drinking my tea. Okay, we're going to donate to the Crumlin Children's Hospital in Temple Street, Dublin. Fantastic. Oh, got some Irish friends here. I'm really excited. Forever goodie bags to the team and also for colleagues. Everybody can hear me. Yay. Lorraine's already done all her Christmas cards and orders this month, and she's going to donate percentage to children in need. That's fantastic. Okay. Someone can't see the chat box. I'm up in the corner, but you know what? I'm honestly not going to be showing my lovely face most of the time. I'm going to tune my picture out here in a minute. So it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Let's see. Someone says, I will be sending forever products to struggling families in the village where I grew up. People are being given who are being given hampers put together by the local community. I think that's fantastic. I think this is going to be a real season of giving. And I'm excited about that. And so, all right. Well, how about on that note, let us get started on essential oils. My name is Jeannie McGinnis, and I'm going to move my little picture down here, and then I'm going to actually go off, and we're going to just focus on the slides. We are introducing our new essential oils. Now, the thing is, I was really sad. I asked them to send me graphics, and I created this PowerPoint. But they didn't have the new essential oils kit with this nifty box. I don't know if you can actually see this, but I was kind of really impressed with the box when they sent it to me. So you can buy our essential oils, which, we have had essential oils for quite a while, but they've revamped it, given a new look, and kind of downsized a bit, which I think is a very good idea, and really left it with our key ones that honestly, lemon, peppermint, and lavender are actually like probably some of your top essential oils that you would use around the house in aromatherapy. They left that, and then Defense, which is an essential oil blend. And we're going to talk about those, but we're going to actually talk a lot about how you can practically use them, because often I think we get an essential oil and we're like, oh, hey, and you just smell it or whatever, which Honestly, I would say don't do that too much because you don't want to touch your skin and you don't want too much air exposed to the bottle. You want to keep them as fresh as possible. But so they've pared it down with our new launch of essential oils with a little bit of a new look and made it a little bit more simplistic. And you can buy them in a package like I just showed you with this cool kit. Oops, other way. Cool kit here. Slides in and out, or you can do them individually. And so what great stocking stuffers. Let me just make sure. How many? Why is no carrier oil available at this time? You know what? That's a great question. And that actually, you know, I wasn't going to mention it too much, but it is a big deal that they don't have a carrier oil, because what that means is they're not really expecting this to go topically on the skin, because you cannot apply direct essential oils onto your skin. It will burn your skin, irritate your skin. You have to have a carrier oil. And they used to have one, but they've taken it out. And so I think really Forever's trying to go a little bit more niche on this in aromatherapy. And a little bit about me is I actually have qualifications in aromatherapy. I'm working on my advanced qualifications. I should have been done, but I've had a little bit going on this year. So I should hopefully by January be done with my advanced qualifications in aromatherapy. And it's a huge, huge field. There's a lot to it. And there's a whole avenue of actually applying topically, but you've got to have a carrier oil. And Forever's chosen to not go that direction, but really just go basic and really focus on the benefit of aromatherapy in the sense of just inhaling through diffusers or a DIY kind of way. And we're going to go through a lot of different ideas of how you can do that here in a minute. So, but that was a great question. And I think that's kind of what they've chosen to do. So I'm going to hide my thumbnail and we're going to go through my slides. And I want to say before we jump into the slides, this is all new content. I've helped Forever actually create this. So if you're like, why is she reading from the slides? Well, it's because I wrote all of the slides. And so I just kind of gave you my notes, a lot of my notes on the slides. Because I think a lot of us, unless you're pretty clued into essential oils and you've been doing it for a while and you know the ins and outs, a lot of us will get this and be like, so it smells nice. What do I do with it? And so this is really great for your essential oils 101, and then just practical ways of using them in your home and really enjoying the benefits. So I'm going to hide this and we're going to jump into our essential oils. All right, let me move this little guy up here. Okay, so what is the process of creating essential oils and what are they? So basically, essential oils are plant extracts, and you steam or you press parts of a plant, you know, the flowers, bark, leaves, to capture the compounds and the benefits that produce a fragrance. And it can take several pounds of a plant to produce a single bottle of essential oil. So that little bottle of lemon essential oil, you know, that we have could take anywhere from 50 to 200 lemons. It just depends. And I mean, so that is a lot of fruit, so to speak, to be captured into a single bottle, which also means that it's incredibly intensive. I mean, it's, you know, if you think one lemon on your skin is a lot, think about, 50 lemons concentrated into an oil. So it's pretty intensive. That's why you don't put it directly onto your skin. You need a carrier oil, or in our case, we're not really using a carrier. We're just going to do fragrance. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So for Forever, I think one of the things you really need to know, because people are like, wow, that's really pricey. Well, the reason is because you can get really cheap, quote unquote, essential oils. But the cheap ones are cheap for a reason. It's because they've got synthetic ingredients or added chemicals to them, which really downplay the quality. And so we really want top quality, 100% pure essential oils. and we don't add things to it. So ours, and this is really key if people are like, wow, that's expensive. Actually, no, it means that it is a high quality product without a bunch of fillers. There's no fillers in our essential oils. Okay, so what is aromatherapy? Because you use essential oils in aromatherapy. And basically, aromatherapy is basically removing, actually, this is more, sorry, this is my old slide that I changed this. This is not what is aromatherapy. This is actually the process of essential oils. Then we're going to get to aromatherapy. So the process is you remove the oils from the plants without sacrificing the aroma by steam distillation or cold pressing. These are the best methods to get the most bang for your buck, so to speak, as we used to say in Texas, you know, without sacrificing the actual, you know, essence of the plant. So we use one of these methods, either cold pressing or steam distillation. Cold pressing is important because heat, if you were to use heat with some of these plants, it would really degrade the actual oil. And so you need to do cold pressing, which is a lot more involved. Cold pressing involves taking the raw ingredients to release the oils from this, and then the oils are scraped off, which is then bottled. Steam distillation is, you know, using, getting the oils from the raw plant with steam. So different plants require different methods to capture the best oil from it. So next one. Oops, what happened? Okay, so I feel like I missed a slide actually. So let me go back. Okay, yes, what is aromatherapy? Here we go. This is the one I meant. All right, so aromatherapy is the practice of using essential oils for a therapeutic benefit. It's been used for, I mean, probably, you know, you think about Cleopatra, we talk about her with aloe, but really there was probably, you know, when you've got floral scents, all those kinds of things. I mean, this has been used for forever, really, because there's so many benefits. Now here in England today, or Ireland, you know, we've got a lot of compliance that we have to adhere to. So that's why I think this is one of the reasons why Forever's just gone kind of just one track of, hey, let's just do, you know, diffusing oils or, you know, inhaling oils and not actually topically applying, because you can get into tricky stuff there. But for us, you know, this is something that's been done for who knows how long, you know, since time began probably, is when you inhale, the scent of the essential oils travels from your olfactory nerves, your nose, to the brain, and especially impact the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain. It triggers something in the emotional center of the brain. And so this is why it's so amazing for an integral part of your well-being, and using scent and the power of scent to help promote self-care. And there's a lot of different ways to practice self-care, but this is a complementary therapy, you know, that you can do at home by yourself, you know, take 20 minutes, take 10 minutes even, to sit back, to relax, to energize, to be mindful, to calm down, to let go of the tension. And we'll talk about a few of the benefits in a little bit, but there's a lot of wonderful things that you can do with aroma and aromatherapy. Okay, so back to our 4 essential oils. We've got 3 of them are just a straight 1 ingredient essential oil: lemon, peppermint, and lavender. They are probably some of the top in the market, and the easiest to use, because they're so distinct. And then we have Defense, which actually is a blend of essential oils, and we'll go through those in a minute. And so this is what we have available. And let's just go through each of these first, and then we're going to talk about how you can use them. So peppermint, funny, I'm like, let me show you. I've got my, I love peppermint. Peppermint's one of my favorite things. In fact, okay, so yeah, peppermint leaves in my herbal tea. I like fresh peppermint because it's one of my favorite fragrances. And I actually do it for herbal tea. So just want to show you that. Anyhow, it's all about coolness, freshness, invigorating, stimulating, soothing. It can calm as well. It kind of has a dual purpose, but I would say it's a little bit more of an invigorating type of scent. These are leaves that are harvested from the foothills of the Himalayas in India. And it's all about bringing down the tension and the stress, but boosting where you might feel a lag, where you're like, I need a little boost here. I'm just needing to clear my head, And so I think one of the perfect places for this is right by your desk, because you can really, you're like, okay, I've had a little too much Zoom today. My poor husband was on Zoom because he teaches all day yesterday, and he has a diffuser, and he didn't think about it because he was teaching all day, but he could have had, something like peppermint going on and off, throughout the day, just to help stimulate and keep him awake, and that kind of thing. All right, let's go to the next one. Lavender. Lavender is all about soothing and calming and relaxing. It's got a high level of linolyl acetate, and which is basically a chain of carbon atoms which promote relaxation because of its fruity, sweet, earthy aroma. It's not too floral. It's not like rose, it's not like that kind of floral. It's much more of a subtle, soothing oil and ours is grown and harvested in Bulgaria. So it's all about releasing tension, rejuvenating. I mean, honestly, this is a great one if you're like, okay, I've had a lot of stress. I'm feeling stressy right now. Okay, all right, go put on your biocellulose mask, put on a diffuser with some lavender, and it really will, within about 10 minutes, it's just a real calming oil. Next is lemon. Again, this is one of the top ones in essential oil market, just because it's such a beautiful scent. So you just know lemon when you smell it. And they're hand harvested and cured from Argentina and California. Actually, I have friends in California with lemon tree plants. And this is, a very potent essential oil. I mean, it really, you're like, wow, lemon. And it's a very invigorating, energizing, kind of like peppermint in a way, but it has a different bent to it. It's a very clean scent to it, to refresh. And I think that's really, when I think about lemon, I think refreshing. I need a little refreshing right now. So I always think like cooling for peppermint, calming for lavender, and refreshing for lemon. All right, and last but not least is our actual blend from 6 different countries of 7 actual oils. And we're going to talk about how they break down in a minute, but you got clove, orange, cinnamon, frankincense, rosemary, eucalyptus, citriodora. I'm sure I said that really wrong. That's actually kind of a lemon, like variety of eucalyptus. So it's a little bit more of a citrus scent. And then juniper from Nepal. So, I mean, that's amazing when you think about how beautiful all, coming from all these different countries. But this is really more of a subtle mood enhancer. It's a citrusy, like I think it smells a little orange, like slightly orangey, warm scent. It's a room freshener. Honestly, I think of Christmas. I think of the holidays. I think of winter when I, smell this one. It really has, it just draws you in. And yeah, and if you could think about scent and memory, whenever I think of Christmas, or holidays or winter, this is the scent I would go to. Maybe peppermint because of like candy canes or something like that, because that was a big deal. All right, let me just see if there's any questions. I mean, I'll be answering questions at the end. Will you let us know if the oils can be ingested? No, please do not ingest these oils. We would caution you. Do not put it on your skin and do not ingest it. Okay, so does it mean we can get a carrier oil from elsewhere if we can't use them for massage, or if Forever is no longer offering? This was used in my massage business. You know what? In one sense, I can't totally answer that, but if you Google carrier oils, you can actually get plain oils, organic. I would recommend organic, and you can get ones. So I wouldn't do like olive oil that's really pungent, but there's several plain ones. And if you Google it, you know, safflower, jojoba, you can easily get some of those at your local grocery. And so I can't, that's not really the direction Forever is going, but if you need a carrier oil, you can get it yourself. Why are there diffusers on the US site but not available in the UK? Great question. Don't know. I've asked, and I was hoping we would get some, but I'm not too sure. I think because it's been reintroduced, you know, so I'm hoping that we have some in the future, but right now they don't have any. Can you ingest peppermint oil? Please do not ingest these oils. What do I add to a diffuser with it? Well, that's a great question with these essential oils, because we're going to go into diffusers in a minute. And how many drops do you put in a diffuser? Every diffuser is different. Okay, there's a lot of questions. Okay, you mentioned putting peppermint in your tea, but not to ingest. Okay, my peppermint is peppermint leaves that I got off of a peppermint leaf plant, not essential oils. So just to clarify that one, I did not put any of the essential oils in anything, and I am not ingesting it. So mint is for, someone wants to clarify, mint is for what? Lemon is for refreshing, lavender is for relaxing, mint is for cooling or invigorating. Can you put essential oil with aloe jelly? I'm not going to answer that question because of the compliance. So great question though. Yeah. That one, yeah, it's better to have a carrier oil if you put it on your skin, and we do not have one. Okay, so let's talk about beautiful essential oils. I love studying essential oils. There's so many essential oils out there. And what I love about them is they fall into categories. You've got your top note, your middle note, and your base notes in essential oils. And you blend them together and it forms music, so to speak. So our defense is music, because it's going to have, it has top notes and middle notes and a base note. So what are these? Top notes are usually really fresh, citrusy, light, like lemon. And they're usually that initial first impression, what you smell right away. Gives it brightness, clarity, and has uplifting properties. Middle notes are essential oils that are middle notes, as you would call them, last longer, and they're more warm, and they have a fullness to them, and they have a body to the blend. And these are found in leaves and herbs. And so I'm going to show you some of these, so you're going to see what they are in a minute. If you're like, huh, this doesn't make sense. Well, I'll show you. Base notes are a lot heavier. They linger the longest. And they're kind of like a fixture. So they're the ones that are going to stay with you, and they have a really strong influence on your emotions. And yeah, so they're a lot deeper, so to speak. So, okay, I have this funny little box here. Okay, so basically in a blend, which you don't have to worry about that because we do have just a basic, but I just want to show you, because defense is a blend. You usually have 20-30% top notes, 40 to 80% middle notes. So most of a blend would be a middle note, and then 10 to 25% of base note, because base notes are so strong. So let me give you examples of these. So for example, peppermint, lavender, and lemon are all pretty much top notes. Now lavender is a little bit heavier, so it can go into top and middle. It's more of a floral. Peppermint is very much a top. It's minty, it's herbal, It's light, it's invigorating. Same with lemon. Top, it's citrusy, invigorating, recharging. You know, that's what you're going to think of. And so that's what those three, and those ones are going to hit you right away. You know, and so anyhow, and then we've got our essential oil blend. So look at our blend here. We've got orange, you have citrusy, as I talked about, which is the top one. You got the eucalyptus with a lemon variety there. So it's a top and middle. So it's citrusy and woodsy. And then you've got a bunch of middle ones. So you got cloves, cinnamon, juniper, rosemary. Those are middle. Remember what I said on your percentage. If you had a blend, it's about almost 80% of it would be middle. That's, you know, that's really the main core. And then frankincense is the base. So it's a sweet and spicy and woody. And that's probably the scent you're going to smell. You know, you'll probably start to notice it, you know, after the orange kind of fades away and you've got this diffusing, you're probably going to notice the frankincense towards the end there. All right. Okay, someone asked, am I correct in thinking that lavender oil can be applied directly to the skin, for instance, to calm burns? No, please do not apply this oil directly to a burn. Lavender needs to, yeah, it probably could burn your skin if you applied it. So please do not apply this directly to your skin. I don't think there is a carrier oil in the brochure, not anymore, not here in England, not with the new, I mean, like I said, they did not launch it with this new thing that just came out a few weeks ago. And then will there be any more essential oils added to the collection? I don't know. I think right now they're going to stick with these and see how they do. That's a good question. We really don't know. So someone asked, can you put a few drops in with fabric softener? Oh my goodness, yes, you can. But we'll talk about that one in a minute. Okay. All right. So let's keep going on cautions. All right. So let's talk about cautions because you really do need to have caution. These are the reason why you need cautions is because it is very, very concentrated. Like I said, I mean, it is pounds and pounds of a fruit or of leaves or herbs that they are squeezing oils from. So, you know, you may be fine, you know, just with one lemon, but like I said, you got 50 there, or with the lavender. That's why you wouldn't just put a drop on your skin. It really is pretty intensive. And so with these essential oils. So a couple of things. One is talk to your GP if you're pregnant or have any medical conditions or breastfeeding, just because you just never know. And even with medications and interactions and yeah, it's always better to be on the safe side. So consult your GP if you've got any of those kinds of medical conditions. Never apply directly to the skin. Stop diffusing any essential oils if they're giving you allergy seasons, such as coughing and sneezing and watery eyes. I would say this usually happens if you've been doing it too long. Don't do it too long. I always recommend no longer than like 45-minute stretches where you do it and give yourself a break because it can overstimulate your senses. And that's where, you know, when you overstimulate, then your body's going, why are you giving me so much of this? You know, so when you're diffusing. So always give yourself a break. But a way to test if you have a sensitivity, and the thing is that it doesn't matter how natural something is. Somebody has a sensitivity to something, you know, like I've met people who are allergic to cucumber. I'm like, who's allergic to cucumber? But people are. So you can always test one by putting it on like a tissue prior to diffusing it and just kind of smelling the tissue. And if you're fine and if it's soothing, fantastic. And then the last one is pets. Pets have a higher sense of smell than humans. And I would say babies would be another one. So make sure that you have, if you have an oil diffuser running, and this is one that fills the whole room, because really there's some DIY stuff we're going to do that really is more for like a tiny little area. And then a diffuser though usually happens, you know, a lot of them fill a room with the fragrance and it can be pretty intense. So always keep your doors open so they can move freely about. And honestly, even for you, because it can get a little much when you have a closed room and you've got a major diffuser going on. And then don't put your face directly over a diffuser, because that's also, I mean, that's oils are being released. And so you don't want to stick your face directly over a diffuser. Okay, so let's talk about diffusers in general and what are they? So essential oil diffusion is the process of dispersing these oils so the aroma fills a room or an area with that fragrance. So if you have lavender and you're thinking, I'm stressed and I just need to de-stress right now, you could put lavender in a diffuser and let that fragrance go throughout the room. All right. And then there's all kinds of ways to do this. There's simple ways, elaborate ways, expensive ways, cheap ways, and we're going to go through a few of those. And there's a lot of things that you can do actually that are in your own house. And then there's a bunch that you can do for purchase. And you can get really pricey ones. I would recommend not getting a pricey one until you've kind of got this down. You're like, okay, I feel really comfortable with this. I know how to use it, because it can be a little frustrating when you buy something really pricey and then you're like, huh, this is weird and complicated. So I would go cheap, honestly, at first, get used to it. And then if you really love it, then go for the pricey diffusers and that kind of thing. So let me just see if there's any other questions. Oh, does the box of oils have an information book? That's a great question. Actually, I didn't see an information book. I was slightly like, no, they've got like warnings, like a bunch of warnings. Yeah. So that's about it. Yeah, it doesn't have info. So I'm hoping maybe we can create one, or we can write some blogs or something like that. All right, so, and okay. Oh, someone says I have if someone with asthma, can you use these oils, please? That's something just ask your GP. I think it's just always good if you're in doubt. Now, I would say you could probably do a very low key scent, in which we can talk about some of the DIY stuff with some if you have asthma, but if in doubt, always ask your GP. Okay, let's move on and actually talk about, and I'm going to get my notes because I have some pros and cons here for each of these. But I put down 4 different types of diffusers. So there's actually more, but it gets real complicated. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to do 4 basic ones that you can buy. And then we're going to go into DIY in a minute after this. So here are 4 basic ones, and I've got the definitions of these, what they are. And then I decided not to put pictures because there's a lot of different brands. And it's just, I just didn't want to have to mess with like putting up brands and kind of promoting something. So you can just take notes, do a little screenshot, you know, and I'll tell you about the pros and cons of each in a second. So the first one is a nebulizing diffuser. Basically, this doesn't use anything but the oil itself. So it doesn't use water, it doesn't use a carrier oil. And most diffusers do not need a carrier oil. It just either uses water or heat. But this doesn't use either. It just uses the oils and air. And basically it puts it into an airstream and pushes it out into a fine mist, a cool fine mist. And so what's great about this is that it doesn't use heat. It has or water, yeah, and it disperses all the oil. So so if you want the most, the highest experience with aromatherapy in terms of just getting on a consistent basis, the nebulizer is probably one of the best bets. However, probably the downfall is that it can be the most expensive of your diffusers, and it only uses oil, which makes it the most expensive. The ones that use water, kind of, you don't have to use as much of your essential oil. And then also sometimes it can be a little noisy. Not all of them, but some of them can be noisy. So if you're wanting quiet, then, you know, it just depends. Like I said, there's so many different types out there. All right, so the next one is an ultrasonic essential oil diffuser. And this uses water and electronic frequencies to create a fine mist, blending that oil and water and basically break up that essential oil into tiny microparticles because of the small disc under it. But, you know, there's all kinds of different types of this one ultrasonic. So, I mean, different looks that you can get, different price ranges. But the pro about this is it doesn't use heat and very little water, but uses a lot less oil. So your essential oil will go a lot further. And it's also usually very little noise and very quiet. So yeah, so I think the con would be the other side is it doesn't use as much oil. So you're not going to get as powerful as say the nebulizer, nebulizing diffuser. But honestly, I would say if you're going to get started, this is a great one to get started with. Next one is the heat essential oil diffuser. And this can be one that you plug in, but it also can be a candle where you can get a little tea light candle. And then this usually, you know, you've probably seen them at candle stores where you get like a little, I don't know how to, I have one in my room, but I'm not going to run and get it. But where it's kind of like a little thing that holds the candle at the bottom. And then it's got a little bowl type of thing where you put your oils and then you just light the tea light. Or you've got one that you can plug in and has a low heat. So anyhow, one thing you need to be careful of the ones that have high levels of heat because it creates a stronger aroma. But the thing is, it's better to go on low heat because when you have a higher heat, it changes the oils. So you want, if you want something that has heat, either get something that has like, you can put on low or get something that just is low heat in general and not something that goes high. So, so basically it uses heat to help evaporate the oils into the air. So sometimes these use water, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the brand. And yeah, I think this is also a really great one to get started with as well. All right, the next one that we're covering today is the evaporated essential oil diffuser. And basically this uses an airflow, like a fan, through a filter. So like it might usually have like a little pad or a tissue, and you put drops of essential oils and then it uses a fan. So you could actually probably make your own, so to speak, you know, get a fan and then get a tissue with some essential oil and have it to where it kind of blows it. But this is probably, these are probably a lot nicer if you buy one because they're made to do that. And yeah, so basically you're going to get the oil in segments and the lighter oils tend to evaporate first. So something like a lemon would evaporate first. And so this is where you probably would want a blend because you're going to get more of that and you're going to smell more of the fragrance for longer if you have an essential oil blend like Defense. So yeah, the pro is it goes quickly into the room because it's being blown into the room. So, all right, let me see if I have any other. Can any of these oils be used in hot water for a face steamer? I probably would not recommend that too much because you don't want it. It's kind of like sticking your face in front of a diffuser. You just have to be really careful on how many. Now, maybe like 1 or 2 drops into a little bit of hot water and you get that, but I wouldn't steam your face with it. I think I would just enjoy it maybe from slightly further away instead of sticking your face right in it. But that's an interesting question. Like I said, you always, you know, the more I study essential oils, the more I've realized you have to proceed with caution and hold these oils in reverence because they're very, very, very potent. And the last thing you want is to get some funny little reaction because you overdid it and stuck it right in your face or you put it on your skin. And so, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about DIY diffusers. And I think this is where it's fun because you could speaking of gifts, you could always give one, maybe the peppermint or the lavender, and then you can make up a little card of, here's some fun things that you could do, and I want to give multiple examples of fun things you can do where you don't have to buy anything else. You can probably find this stuff around your house and enjoy some of the benefits. And a lot of the DIY ones, though, now there's a few actually that are exceptions, but a lot of the DIY ones aren't going to hit a whole room. They're just going to be a small little area or just you. And so this is really great, especially with pets and kids, where you don't want it to be too strong, but you want to enjoy the fragrance and the benefits. And so here's a few. So we've got the first one is simple tissue or fabric diffusion, where you put 3 to 4 drops on a tissue, place that tissue near you, and as movement occurs, or you just fan it a little bit, the aroma will waft through the air. And this is, you can take this anywhere with you. You could go in public if you want to with it, of like a work space. So it's not going to diffuse in the entire room. It's just going to be your little area. Or you can put a fabric, such as your dressing gown, or great example. You're going to go work out. You're feeling really sluggish. Put it on maybe the shoulder of workout clothes before you go running, and you're going to be able to smell that fragrance. Or put it on the corner of a pillow. Just avoid where it might go into your skin. You don't want to do that. So put on the corner of a pillow so you can smell that fragrance. And it's going to be very subtle, but you can still smell it. Yeah. So the disadvantage is it's not long lasting and it's not going to go into a full room, but sometimes that's an advantage because sometimes you just want that little burst. Okay. So DIY number 1. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Steam diffusion. And this is what we were talking about. This is where I would not put your face over it because someone asked that question, but you can be near it and enjoy the benefits. So maybe boil 2 cups of water, or you could even put it in a mug if you want to, just a steaming hot mug, and maybe add a few drops if you just want a little boost. But maybe if you want to have some water boiling, you could put some in, 10 drops or so. I think it's really up to you. You don't want to overdo it, but people are like, how many drops do you do? Well, do about 2 or 3. If you don't feel like it's enough, do about 4 or 5, maybe, but don't overdo it because you don't want to be like overpowered with the scent. But you can always, it's always kind of a trial of how many drops you want to put in. There's not a real hard, fast rule. Personally, I always like to go on the low side just because I'm quite sensitive. So I don't want it too overbearing for me, but then some people like it. Like my husband, actually, he really enjoys the diffuser and his essential oils. And so, yeah, he tends to do a lot more because he really loves the scent. So, and if you do too much, it can cause irritation to your mucous membranes. So, this is great, especially for energizing, relaxing, and it goes into the room quickly, but it's usually not long lasting. So this is great for just a little boost, maybe a 10-minute boost. There you go. All right, another one is candle aromatherapy diffusion, where you get a plain candle. Remember, plain, because there's a lot of scented ones out there. So get a plain candle, let it burn for about 5 minutes, and then where you've got that wax that's all melted, just put 1 drop in there. Not on the wick, but on the actual wax. And that's going to help just for a little bit release that aroma. It's not very long lasting, so that's a disadvantage. The other disadvantage is essential oils are highly flammable. So make sure great care is used. This is just your cheap DIY little boost that can be used on your desk if you're, if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I just need to wake up a little bit here. I need a little boost, or I just need to de-stress a bit. This is great for that. All right. And then a couple other things. So in addition, you can put this in the dryer and infuse your scent into clothing. So maybe put a few drops on a small cloth and then stick in the dryer, or even on piece of clothing or 2, just a few drops, and then let it go. I wouldn't do too many, and I would definitely experiment a bit, You could have a little spray bottle with water and, you know, maybe 10 drops in a spray bottle and then spray it through your home or even on those clothes. You could put it in fabric softener. You know, if you have unscented fabric softener and you just want to give it a boost with lavender, or, you know, because that's really what they do, except they probably, in a lot of fabric softeners, they use synthetic. This is using real oils. You can put it in your fabric softener and then let it just go through your clothes. But here's another thing. So cotton wool is your friend, because if you put like 2 or 3 drops on cotton wool, stick it in your shoes, stinky shoes, leave it overnight. In the morning, you're going to have peppermint shoes, lavender shoes, you know, Defense, lovely holiday shoes, you know. You could stick cotton wool, just stick it on your desk, a little piece. This is kind of like that little teeny area that you want it to have a nice aroma. It's not going to be like a diffuser, you know, where you're getting all these scents consistently. It's just going to be a little bit of a waft. You could stick a piece of cotton wool in your dressing gown, you know, and you're going to just smell that fragrance, you know, in the pocket or whatever, or in your jacket. Another idea is you can put drops on a cotton clothes peg. Okay, not cotton, sorry, wood clothes peg. You can put maybe about 4 or 5 drops on a wood clothes peg, and then clip this on your car, like, you know, the little vents in your cars, clip it on a vent, and all of a sudden you're going to have an air freshener for your car, or just a lovely, you know, your drive to work or drive to the grocery store. You're going to get a lovely scent on the clothes peg. And that's just a really cheap way to make an air freshener. Another thing you can do is maybe get, I don't know, you could say a cup or half a cup of baking soda, and then add, you know, say maybe 8 to 10 drops of an essential oil, maybe peppermint or lavender. Okay, mix it together and then get a little spoon, put it on, just kind of sift a little bit on a carpet and then hoover it up. You know, maybe wait 10 minutes before you hoover it, but then hoover it up, and you're going to have a lovely scent. It's not going to last long, you know, maybe for a few hours, but you're going to have a lovely scent, and that's an easy DIY thing that you can do. For cleaning, now I actually use vinegar spray. It's pretty concentrated here in England. Vinegar spray is a lot more concentrated here in England than it is in the UK. In Ireland than it is in America. In America, it's a lot more diluted. So just a little bit of vinegar spray in a spray bottle with water, and then add a scent. So add some essential oils, and you get a lovely, just natural cleanser that you can do. Another one is if your toilet just kind of smells, all you got to do is get a toilet roll, and then on the inside, on the cardboard, maybe drop 2 or 3 drops, and then put it back, and it's just going to have a lovely scent for, you know, quite a while. It may not last days, but it will last a little while, and you're just going to have a nice, lovely undercurrent of a scent in there. Another thing is in the corner of your shower, if you maybe had like a little soap dish, you could put 2 or 3 drops, and then while the steam is going to interact with that essential oil, and you're going to get some of that fragrance in there. So those are just some really simple DIY things where you don't need a carrier oil. You don't need anything except for maybe 1 essential oil and cotton wool, or, you know, and these are very low key, very pet friendly, you know. And so, although I would say with the baking soda on the carpet, if you have pets, maybe have a little bit of caution, just because they're, like I said, their senses are a lot more heightened and can be easily irritated. So just sensitivity to your pet. And then also, I mean, I recommend, you know, taking time out and diffusing these oils when doing yoga or relaxing or reading or mindfulness. And then what a great gift, maybe a biocellulose mask and some essential oil. You know, that would be a great little Christmas gift to someone. Take time for yourself. And, you know, what I love about the mask is you could put on a diffuser for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and just lay there, do some mindfulness, have a mask, have a full self-care experience. So There we go. So what are some benefits? Like I said, that are not necessarily with massage, though, you know, I'll leave that up to you, but remember, don't put these directly on the skin. But for your mind and just relaxing, you know, a lot of benefits are boosted cognitive function. So clear mind, clear decision making, helping, you know, calm down your parasympathetic. If you know anything about, you know, your nervous system, you've got your parasympathetic, which is all about trying to de-stress, calm down all that tension, soothe the tension, and our responses that we have. And then it's also another benefit is just to stop and enjoy the power of scent and memories. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love Defense, is because I think of the holidays, I think of special memories. And so that's part of it as well. So let me look and see if there's any other questions. I'm not sure if I can answer all of them. Can you put it in a foot bath? You know, this is where, like I said, we don't have a carrier oil. So I would probably recommend maybe, like I said, Googling something that you could use for carrier oil, like organic safflower oil that you could get at the grocery store, or a mild, like I said, mild olive oil, and maybe put a few drops in that. Same with your bath. I would just be on the safe side just to dilute those oils a bit. But yes, you could put it with an additional carrier oil. Simple tissue diffusion. Do you dilute? No, you don't need to dilute with a carrier oil with a simple tissue diffusion if you just put a few drops. Then how many uses are drops per bottle? That's a great question. I don't know if it's on the label. I think honestly, well, it's definitely not on this one. On this, I'm looking at the, let me get my screen back up. So it's not on here on how many, but there's a lot of drops, because I'm looking at this and I think this would last me quite a while. So I think it just depends on, yeah, there we go. So someone said in my stage 2 aromatherapy course, I was taught we should use a mask of 3 oils mix and a max of 6 drops overall. So how is our blended oil safe? Though it sounds lovely. You know what? Actually, I've heard, I mean, I'm in aromatherapy, and actually you can do a lot more than that. I mean, I think that was probably just your course. Now, I would say where it says a max of 3 oils mixed, if you look on the market where you've got actual companies that do blended oils, you can do more than that if they're all in the same kind of family. If you're doing it by yourself, that's a little different because we don't know it as well. And so, and honestly, like with the peppermint and lemon and lavender, you don't want to mix those together. And that's really what they've done, is they've given you some basics that you can use by themselves. And then they've given you a blend of some very similar complementary oils. And so, and then you can definitely do more than 6 drops. I mean, for sure. So I think that was really more your class, and maybe even the type of oil that you use, because every company is a little different on their oils and all of that. So, okay, let me see what other questions. All right. Okay, oops, someone said, put on cotton wool, then pop in your Hoover bag. Yes, yes, yes. The room will be filled with the lovely aromatherapy oil. Okay, here's another idea that you could actually do with the Hoover, is you can actually put it on a tissue, like put several drops on tissue, take your tissue, tear it up, and then kind of crumble on your floor all over, and then Hoover around that. And it will actually leave a lingering scent, which is nice. And it'll also go into your Hoover and it will smell. Once opened, where should the bottle be kept? In a cool, dark area. I would not put it in front of the sun. You know, it is in a dark bottle for a reason. And honestly, what I like with their new packaging is it's easy peasy to store it if you get the set, because it closes it up and it keeps it out of the sun. So I would keep it in a dark place, out from, and not cold, but like just you know, in your cupboard where heat and won't get to it. Can these be used in a bath with a carrier oil? Like again, Google common carrier oils, because you can easily get something, I mean, even from your kitchen, that you can use with a little bit of carrier oil. And you'd use maybe like a tablespoon with about, you know, 4 or 5 drops of your carrier oil just to disperse it and carrier. Yeah, because they've decided not to go in that direction with going on your skin. I'm not going to go into this, even though there's a question on it, just because at this point, I'm not sure what they want in terms of compliance. And is this so new how they've kind of relaunched this? So that's a great question. And hopefully we'll be able to address those ones about mixing it with your moisturizer and your jelly. I mean, honestly, yeah, I probably shouldn't get into this, but you know, your aloe moisturizer is like a carrier oil in a sense, you know, yeah, you could probably, yeah, anyhow, I'm not going to get into that. So this is where marketing's gonna edit this out. Like, oh, there's Jeannie. She is, you know, she's not being very compliant. All I can say is the way they've packaged this is without a carrier oil. So don't put it directly on your skin. Okay. Yes. Okay. And someone says carrier oils also have therapeutic benefits. It's a good idea to research the oil too. I agree. There are some amazing carrier oils, and that's something that you could research on your own. But this is a great way to get started. And if you've never used an essential oil, this is a brilliant way to get started in a starter pack with some very classic essential oils. And then from there, if you get used to it, then you can do some of your own research of how to use it in other ways. All right, any other questions? I'm waiting to see. All right, I think that's it, unless, so all I would encourage you is at least get one, you know, like I said, we've got lemon, which is very refreshing. All right, and then we've got peppermint, which is cooling and invigorating. And then we've got lavender, which is calming and helps with de-stressing. And then defense, which is very much a warm and lingering scent that definitely it's a little bit more the holidays. I mean, I say get some defense for the next 2 months, you know, you can put it on, you know, in some steaming water and just have it in your kitchen. It's lovely. Let me just see if there's any other questions before. Okay, got lots of thank yous. All right, well, hopefully that's helpful. And that is the end of our evening. Thanks so much. Good night.